How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation, time to get your imagination all revved up, get into some creativity, and it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from Edward Detmold. Demold? Let me know. Comments down below. He's a wonderful artist. I really like his stuff. Let's take a look at a couple of pieces. Now, this one I thought was just phenomenal. I really love this piece. As you know, I personally have an affection or an affinity towards the really toned paper and Indian ink or just black and white ink drawings. That's really the aesthetic that I personally love. So I really am a fan of this piece. It is interesting, the face here as well. It's almost like it's missing a beak or something too. There's something mysterious about the front here that really draws my eye into there and makes me wonder about that. But just a gorgeous texturing throughout there. You know, you can see the softs and the hards and everything in there too. Just a really nice drawing. Again, all his color stuff is really wonderful as well. He does a lot of animal stuff. I believe he did illustrations for Jungle Book and Arabian Nights. Some just gorgeous work. I love his choice of color as well. And these beetles, the little dung beetles, so cute and so wonderful. Great stuff. So I urge you guys to check out more of his stuff. I'll throw some links in the description below if you want to see more from him. Wonderful drawing. But I did want to share a quote, and this one is a little bit longer. It's from the beginning of his book that's entitled, I believe, Life. So bear with me, but it's a little bit longer, but I think there's some good stuff in here. And he said, "The fruits of self-overcoming, the direct positive way, through progressive liberation, passing from the lesser realization of the body to the greater realization of the mind, and therefrom to the realization of the infinite through the soul, and the direct negative way, through disillusionment, which comes of infatuation with things in themselves and the inevitable passing thereof." A really interesting quote. It talks about, why do you get better? That's you have the positive reasons that you're going to get better and the negative reasons that you're going to get better. And the positives are through, the realization that it's mind over matter, the whole, if your body's tired and you don't want to get up and run, you have to choose to get up and go run. You have to have that excuse me, but I'm gonna cough all day. The realization that your thoughts and the way that you approach things are going to lead to those actions. So you have to change your thinking mentality and then go to the greater kind of spiritual or ethereal place beyond that once you get past that point as well. And then you have the negative way that you get better, and that's through realizing that no matter how tight you hold on to things, whether it's the things that you think right now and the way that you think, or the things that you... Jeez, I can't get rid of this cough. Hold on one sec. Oh, my eyes are watering. Wonderful cough. Thank you. Thank you, world. That things are time is fleeting. You get there was a great quote that I saw earlier today too. This kind of ties in there if I can remember it correctly, and that was, there's no such thing as like free time or time that you can kick around, or wasted time, or boredom or anything. It's just life, and it's what you're going to do with it. Every moment matters because this is all you get. You get one chance. This is your life. You're going to spend it however you're going to spend it. And I think that also comes a little bit with being a little bit older too. When you're really young in your teenage years and stuff, you might not have the concept of time the same way that you do when you're a few years after your teenage years. So a little more philosophical of a quote, but I think it's great because we're going on this journey together. You guys are probably 20 steps ahead of me, or maybe you're a couple steps behind, but we're all on this journey together towards mastering whatever medium that you're passionate about. And I thought this was just a really interesting quote from a wonderful artist. So let's go ahead and get into some animation. I can get rid of this cough, that'd be wonderful. We're going to be using the Goon rig again. It's from the How to Cheat in Maya series, which I thought I still had the book around, but I don't. It's over there somewhere. It's a great rig, not free, but still pretty low cost of entry. I think it's about 15 or 20 bucks. If you guys want to pick it up, there'll be a link in the description below. And we're continuing on with our pipe slide animation that we've been doing for the last couple of days here, and we're using Autodesk Maya 2014 for today's video. For more information on that and all the stuff we've talked about so far, check out the links in the description below. So let's switch over to our camera and let's watch this and see where we want to approach our shot for the day. Okay, now to me the things that really stick out is this section in here. I feel like there's some good stuff in there, but it needs to be fleshed out. So I think that's what I want to do. And then also that step still feels a little funky. So I think those are the two areas that I want to approach today. And then if time permits, if we get that working pretty well, we'll start polishing this up a little bit more. I think the feet work okay, but we still have some areas that definitely need some help before we get there. But I think overall, yesterday's pass definitely helped this to come together a bit more. First day was a little bit struggly setting up the cameras and everything, but I think we got some stuff that's workable, so I think that's what we'll approach for today's kind of layout for how we want to spend our time. And on creatively or imaginatively, time management is really important thing to understand to continue to be creative all the time, because you have to realize that, you know, other things in life are going to come up, and if you can't manage your time well, you can't spend those creative resources or those imaginative resources correctly. Sorry, I'm just getting sneezy and coffee today for some reason, and I was fine up until like 10 minutes before recording. Wonderful. So let's set our frame range. We're going to pretty much be looking from 45 here to, let's say, 68. And we'll just kind of look at that frame range. That's, you know, what, 23 frames there? So I think we could polish that up a lot better here. Okay. So turn our nerve curves back on. Turn our controls back on there too. And turn off everything except for nerve curves, nerve surfaces, and our polygons as well. I don't need to key anything else here. And let's look at this knee. See, like right there's a big pop. So let's pull our graph editor up here. Window, Animation Editor's graph editor. And we know we want that key there. I think that key's fine. So let's go ahead and delete these in-betweens there. And we'll just put them there ourselves. So let's second here. I'm just trying to avoid that pop. And I know we touched on some of this yesterday. I think we could do less ball roll here. I think we need to do a little more, rotate up on that foot there. Maybe we could push this foot over a little bit more and pull a knee out there. Just so that there's a better transition with that knee there, which feels a little bit better. Although that still feels a little bit poppy from there, so maybe we'll set this one, delete that. let's watch that now, see if that doesn't seem to stick out as much to me, which is nice. Okay. Still got a little bit move here, so maybe push that over, down, pull it back a little bit. And again, this is moving so quickly that we don't need to be super worried about everything being completely smooth on every transition. But we still want to have some semblance of that, so maybe we'll leave it there. The ball needs to be flat here. We'll set that one. Set that. Let's go ahead and it's going to be a little bit lower down there, a little bit further back. Trying to get it so we kind of get that little bit of plant there. Let's see how that feels now. There we go. Yeah, feels better. Feels like it has a little bit of push off. And then here, maybe we'll push that a little bit over. Push the knee up a little bit. Rotate that foot a little more like that. Let's see. And let's try and see if we can get this to work a little bit better. So let's turn the ball roll off here. And then here. So I'll key that one. This one we'll have it planted down there. Maybe a little more flat there. Try and keep that down a little bit more. And give me a couple more frames here so I can see how that transitions out of there. Alright, so I'll set that one. That's fine. Delete this. Still feels like that should be over a little bit more. zero the toe out here. Drag it back a little more there. Keep dragging it. Let it lift up here. Up there. And we'll flat it. Okay. Yeah, let's look at this one here. Drag the toe down there. Lift the toe up a little bit here. Keep it up a little bit there. And then plant it there. So let's see. And I'm sure there's a couple extraneous keys in here. So get rid of that one there. So it's gonna be planted on the ground there, then we'll drag it, lift it up. Maybe here. Kind of feel like it should maybe drag a little bit more here just to really sell the lift off. We might need to go a little bit higher there though. Let's see that now. Okay, let's take a couple steps back. I feel like our spacing was better on the leg before. Felt heavier for some reason. Yeah, I think that works a little better. Alright. So I think that was a better pass, cleaning up some of that weight there and that jump, so that reads a little better. Okay, obviously we're going to need to go in here and lift that up a little bit more. And let's look at the larger picture. Go back to frame 0 here. And can we tell 120? And let's watch how that feels once we've got everything working together. And I think we could take another couple of frames to get out of that down position here. On the chest, really. So we've got that. And we'll hit that. Let's see how that feels now. I think we're missing something there. Just feels like it hits a little too hard. So I know I want it to be here. I know that's good. I know that's good. So maybe we'll delete this one. Go down a little lower there. Delete that. couple more frames to get in and out of that a little better. So we've got where it hits right about there. Yeah, let's see it now. I think this needs to be more exaggerated there. Let's look at our translate Y. Really push it down. I'm going to come back up around here. Let's see. Maybe one more frame later. More frame after that. And then let the rotates hit around here. Maybe we just need to hold the down a little bit more. And then give me one more frame to get out of there. And then let's push it a little bit more. Yeah, it feels a little better. So you get that weight that it goes down and goes up. Okay, and the next thing I wanted to do was kind of attack, I guess, pretty much right after that, 70 to 87. So let's set that window and try and break that down a little bit more. I think it's just that this foot should be down a little bit more. So we get more of a peel off there. Raise that up a little bit more, maybe do some ball roll. Some knee twist out. Let's see it now. So you get a little bit of arc there. And there's a couple of frames here with this foot look at doing a little bit of toe there. Set that. That's fine. Go ahead and drag the toe. Maybe even do a little bit of pivot. Nah, leave it. Thought there was a little bit of a rock on the toe itself, but I think it's just the heel. Okay, we'll have to make sure we zero those back out, because I feel like the arc that we have going is working okay. Lift that up, flatten it there, so we get a little bit of overlap. Yeah, let's see that now. Okay, it's working a little better, so we'll go ahead and save our file here real quick. And remember, it's always good to save multiple versions and to save often. Alright, so I feel like that's working now. Let's make sure, go back to about 45 and make sure that that's blending with that other move, okay? It does feel like this to that feels a little too fast. So let's see. Let's watch it backwards and see if it feels okay. It's alright. Maybe it's this foot there, which feels like it's too much. Let it drag a little bit more, maybe that'll slow us down a little bit. Yeah, I could probably do with another extra frame in there, but I'm not going to worry about that just yet. I want to get into breaking down the end a little bit more, and then hit up doing something with the arms, because I haven't really done anything with the arms yet. Okay, so let's look at the end. Swing out at about 89 to 120. I think is probably around the frame range we want to look at here. So I don't think we actually, let's break down from about 70 or 84 here to 120. Okay. Let's tweak this, do some more stuff with the feet so they really feel planted on there. push that over to help kind of compensate there. A little rotate Z that way. Switch back to my perspective so I can grab the chest here. Just so there's a little bit of sway there. Alright, that feels fine. This one, we definitely want to curve it down a little bit over. This needs to be a little bit higher. Up a little bit more. And I think we want to do the same here, so we don't get so much of a pop there with that foot lifting there. See that now. And I kind of want another frame. Before that foot really lands there. Okay, forget that. Take what we have there and we'll just lift it off there. I have to give a little more so that knee doesn't get so bent there. Maybe we can twist it out a little bit. And get the toe up there, plant it down. Take that. Let's watch that now. Just so there's some more variation with the feet. Drag the toe up here a little bit more. Alright, sorry about that distraction there. The neighbor's house alarm started going off, so I had to go check that out. Yeah, life can be crazy sometimes. So let's see, where were we here? Alright, I think that's working okay. Definitely needs some more polish, but I don't want to get into too much polish just yet. So I think I want to start hitting up the arms and see if we can do a little bit of an arm pass throughout here. So let's start off at the beginning here. And let's just look at this arm here. Set everything there. Let's swing it out a little bit more there. And a little bit here. might even switch to IK here, but I don't know. Maybe we'll keep it. I think I'm going to probably switch to IK hands on that jump, but for right now we'll just keep it where it's at. I think this needs to be about a frame sooner and a little bit less. Watch it again. Okay, it's alright. Good rough pass there. So let's go ahead and grab both of these and we'll just key them all at the same time just so we get a rough timing pass for knowing when to punch our keys in on the other arm. Just go back to here. So right there, we'll pull it in a little bit. There, we'll pull it out a little bit. In, out, out a little bit. Drag it inward. It's just a real rough pass for right now, but let's see how it feels. Okay, I think this one might be too much, so let's scale that move back. And maybe a little bit more than that. That one seems fine. Down there. This one can swing out a little bit sooner. Maybe hit there. A little bit more. That one feels a little too far out, so we'll scale it back in. And this one I think would go a little bit further inward. Alright, now let's watch that again. This move for some reason just feels off, so I don't know if maybe we should do it a couple frames sooner. Maybe push it a little bit more. Let's see. Okay, now I feel like we kind of killed some of the movement through it. It's a little too neutered, so let's just take some of these extremes and push them a little bit more. Let's hold it works. Okay, so let's start looking at, we'll go ahead and save our file here again, and let's start looking at the forearms there. Let's do each one individually though. So I'll just go back in here and we're just going to set a key right on everything that we have right there. I'm going to delete that. And delete this one. Set that one. Delete whatever we had there. Set that. Set that. Set that. Set this one. Delete that one. Set that. And set there. Now I want to go back to here. I think I don't need this key. So let's watch that again, make sure we didn't screw anything up there too bad. Now, this needs to come down about a frame sooner. Okay, yeah, let's try breaking this up now, so I'll move it forward a couple of frames. Yeah, let's keep it on this for right now. There. In here, up there, in here. Keep it kind of in there a little bit more. Good, go out, in further, in there, out there, and back. Okay. And we'll wanna delay it a couple of frames, I think. So we go up a little bit here. Hold on. Go back a couple. Make sure I select everything so for when I retime it, delay it 2 frames there. Maybe 3. Let's watch it again. Okay, and then let's throw in a key here. We're going up. So you get kind of a little bit of a wave movement this portion feels like it's maybe a little bit too exaggerated, so let's scale that back, that move here. And let that go maybe forward a frame. Make sure I'm getting everything here. Keep it going there. Go out. Yeah, don't need that one being so big. We'll scale that back a little bit more. This one go about there. Yeah, let's watch it again. This one, for some reason, seems too over the top, so scale it back a little bit. Bring that back just a little bit more here, too. This one, I feel like we should get a little bit of drag there. Maybe delay that one frame. Okay. Again, still pretty rough on everything, but I think we've got something that's workable. Now I want to make sure that I get rid of any extraneous frames here. So let's delete that one. Just want to maybe retime some stuff. Okay, now let's grab this one and this one. We'll go through and we'll set the timing for our other forearm. And then if we don't like it, we can always offset it, but it gives us just a rough place where we want our main keys working. I don't want them to hit all the time at the same frame, but it gives us a good basis for where to start laying everything in there. Okay, and let's get this guy. And again, I think I should drag down a little bit, so go up a little bit, drag it in a little bit, flick it out, drag it in, flick it out, drag it in, swing it out, down here. There, out a little bit, in here, out there, in, back out. Alright, so I think that's probably how we'll be looking at this one. Get rid of that. Okay, so let's watch that now. Okay, I feel like that jump was a little too heavy there on that arm, so let's see. It should maybe be like a frame sooner on everything. And then let it hold down a little bit longer. this one, I might just want to push this pose so that arm's out a little bit more. Feels a little better. I do feel like we're kind of missing another key out here. Okay. And let's look at that forearm again. Out a little bit there. In here. All right. Goes in, goes out, goes in. I think we need one more that goes in here. Just so we get that a little bit of wave movement. Let's see. All right. Pretty. I think that's a good another couple of passes. We cleaned up some stuff there. Definitely got that jump working, that step working a little bit better. Cleaned up a little bit on the jump off. We still need some more time on there, and we got a rough pass on the arms working through here. So I think we're hitting about our time for today. I think we got some good stuff done. So let's turn our controls off here. Save our file again. And we'll play it, and we'll take a look back at where we started. We're looking at the beautiful work of Edward Detmold. Have to let me know down below in the comments. And he said, the fruits of self-overcoming, the direct positive way, through progressive liberation, passing from the lesser realization of the body to the greater realization of the mind, and therefrom to the realization of the infinite through the soul, and the direct negative way through disillusionment, which comes of infatuation with things in themselves, and the inevitable passing thereof. Great quote. Great things to think about while you're on your journey. I hope you're taking another step towards mastering whatever medium you're passionate about, and thanks for sharing it with me. I love you guys lots. Thanks for all the likes and subscribes, and I think that'll wrap it up for today. Another, I think we're slowly but surely getting there with this shot. Still definitely have some work to do. We need to do the hands, we need to do the fingers, we need to do the face. I think the lower body mechanics are working. I still might like to tweak a couple more frames in on that one curve where it's a little quick, I think. Alright, there. Just feels like it turns maybe a frame or two too fast. But other than that, I think the lower part of the body is working. We could definitely polish it up some more, but I think there's some good basis to start with. We're going to do shoulders, so lots more still to do with this shot, but I think we're getting there for sure. So I think that'll wrap it up for today. Thanks for hanging out with me. Sorry, I just had some coughs throughout the whole thing today. But you know, that's life. Life's gonna have alarms going off in your neighbor's house. It's gonna have coughing. There's just gonna be distractions and everything. But it's about pushing through. It's about staying focused. It's about staying enthusiastic and motivated and taking another step each and every day. So I love you guys lots. And before I ramble on for too long, we'll wrap it up. And we will see you for some more animation tomorrow.